Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're not supposed to have favorites. Of course, I say this all the time. She's on with me, and she's one of my favorites. She's very cool. Tonya Mantooth is the CEO and artistic director for the San Diego International Film Festival, the renowned San Diego International Film Festival. And I'm getting dirty looks right now from Tonya. How you doing, Tonya?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Drew.
Always good to have you on. How many years of the film festival now?
So we're in our 22nd year.
Have you been involved in all 22?
No, I came on in 2012.
Exactly. And so it's iconic. There's cool things going on. When does it kick off and how long does it go and how many films and everything in between?
So it's October 18th to the 22nd, and we are screening 91 films this year.
90. Okay. So you're screening 91, which means how many were submitted to get to 91?
This year we had almost 3,200 films submitted from 85 countries. It was really an amazing year for submissions.
Is that the biggest? It's got to be the biggest, isn't it? So, and you start looking at the films like the day after the film festival's over?
It feels that way. Actually, we open submissions at the end of January.
Okay.
And we have about 60 screeners that start watching those films. And then we begin to cull that down. So every film's watched multiple times. And then meantime, we're out looking at all the other film festivals and seeing what's out there. We bring those films in, and that's what I'm watching. So it's really an incredible process. We take all the way through middle of July. So it's a huge commitment.
Oh my goodness, it's a whopper of one. So what are the days of the film festival?
So October 18th to the 22nd. So it's a Wednesday through Sunday, and it's really going to be a really fun year this year.
And because we're finally out of COVID, is that why, among other things?
Well, what's interesting is one of the things that we really wanted to do as a team was to create much more of an experiential kind of feeling with the festival. So we're at Westfield UTC, and what's great is we're able to take over that whole area and really integrate people. So we've got music in the VIP lounge. We're partnering with some of the top luxury brands there. So people get to watch films, go have a glass of wine in the VIP lounge, meet people, do different experiences and just spend the whole day. Right.
So there's 91 showings. Okay. And they're over how many different theaters or different places?
We're all at AMC 14 there at Westfield. And so we're taking over most of the theaters. Yes.
Yeah. Was that where you did the virtual one? So who did I see that you won an Academy Award? You invited me to see that one, and you'll know her. She was in Fargo and all that business.
In good memory. In 2020,
that's right.
When everybody else was closed down, we decided to do a drive-in.
You did.
And we did 6 weeks of a drive-in in partnership with Westfield.
Right.
And we opened the film festivals with Nomadland.
Nomadland. And so I remember you were kind enough to, get me in on there, and you're literally like an old drive-in. And it was, Frances
McDormand.
Yeah. And she won the Academy Award, did she not?
She did.
I know.
It was ironic because, of course, the film was about people living in their cars, and then people watched it in their cars. So
And she won an Academy Award. Yeah, that was that. But the fact that you were creative enough to do this, and while everybody else was hunkered down in the fetal position, you certainly wouldn't, and you wouldn't be that way. So the opening night's at MOPA, correct?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to be down there. We got a pre-party going on before the screening, and then we're opening with the Holdovers.
And what's the Holdovers about?
So Alexander Payne, who is the director for Descendants and Sideways, it stars Paul Giamatti, so they're kind of coming back together after Sideways, and it is really a fabulous film. What I love about this film is it's so Alexander Payne, because what seems like you think you know where this film is going, it is not. He just peels back the layer of who these people are. They're all flawed. They're all interesting. It's funny. It's poignant. It'll make you cry, but you'll walk away and you'll think about that film for days.
So that'll be on the 18th, is that correct?
Correct.
And it'll be, okay, and that's a ticketed event, I imagine, correct?
Yes.
Is it sold out?
It is almost sold out, and it's also our pass holders. They get access to that opening night.
Okay, but if people still wanted to get one of those very few tickets, how do they get a hold of you?
sdfilmfest.com.
Okay, that's very, very, very simple. Is he going to be there? Paul Giamatti going to be there?
Well, with the strike, they can't.
I know, I was going to say.
They can't attend.
So tell me how that's impacted you with the strike.
Early in the year, I knew when I saw the WGA strike and I saw how long that was going to go, I took my team and said, listen, let's move away. The only thing that shifted was we normally do a Night of the Stars tribute, which I know you've come to.
Right.
And so I said, let's just go ahead and postpone it to 2024.
Right.
And because I felt like the strikes were really going to, extend, and they have. And I knew that the guidelines would, preclude them from coming.
Right, exactly. We're chatting with Tonya Mantooth. She's the CEO and artistic director for the San Diego International Film Festival. Now, how many years now, you said?
22 years.
22 years. Very, very good. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year broadcast at these beautiful Mission Fed studio here in Scripps Ranch, and Mission Fed's been doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. So opening nights at MOPA on October the 18th. You're going to see the holdovers. 4 days at AMC UTC. With those films, can you get, I'm going to ask you this question. Has anyone seen every single film? It's impossible to see every film, correct? Because you can't do it because they play simultaneously, right?
You're right.
Oh,
You can't see every single film.
Right.
That is correct.
Right.
So, but what we try to do is we really try to map it out. So if people love features, documentaries, shorts, we try to schedule it so you try to get to as much as you can.
Right. So you just go to the website, San Diego, there's a film, what's the website again?
sdfilmfest.com.
So you'll see at what time these are playing and so forth. And I'm sure there's a strategy for this. As you know, I go to New Orleans for the Jazz and Heritage Festival every year, and there's a strategy. Okay,
yep.
They're playing at this time, so if I walk over halfway through, I'm going to see this guy, and then I got to go to the gospel tent. Is it the same type of thing, I imagine, correct?
It is, absolutely. I mean, we've got panels, so we always try to map it out so people have a chance to get out of the films, go to the panels, still go to the parties. So we really try to map it out so it's convenient.
So do you already have the names of the people that are going to be on the panels? Is that all set up yet?
You know what? That we're putting together right now. But the panels this year will be really interesting because we're expanding it. We always do a women's panel in conjunction with our women's film series. This year we're doing one in terms of military, which I think you'd find interesting. But we added one about AI. And we're bringing in people down from the industry to talk about, and it's called AI, Disruption and Innovator.
Nice.
And so it's really, exploring both sides of the fact that it is a disruptor and it is an innovation.
Right. Talk about the San Diego Film Foundation and its connection with the film festival.
So the San Diego Film Foundation is our nonprofit, and the foundation produces the film festival.
Right.
And one of the core pieces of it is our Focus on Impact film series, which I'm incredibly proud of and so love.
Yeah, and one thing you and I have talked about I can't remember how many years you've been on the show, which I'm very grateful that you've done this, is creating empathy. And you and I talked about this incessantly. And of course, empathy is something that unfortunately I think in many areas has gone the way of the dodo bird and so forth. But good for you. And we've talked about just how critical film is in bringing people together. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's one of the few mediums that really allows you to kind of walk in someone else's shoes. Mm-hmm. And until you do that, I don't think you can really truly understand what they experience and therefore develop a sense of compassion. And without that, I don't think we can ever kind of come together to have that conversation. So to be able to take short films out into the schools on really important social topics, I think is so key. I mean, this is the next generation of leaders, and they need to see these issues as human issues.
Yeah, 100%. We were just chatting with somebody yesterday on another podcast I do, and these are two history teachers up in the Claremont, LA area, and they had got a grant, so to speak, with other teachers to visit Auschwitz and in Poland and so forth. And we were interviewing them on the experiences and, what they're going to bring back to, the class and all that business. And one of the questions, of course, was, how much are you going to talk about? Listen, this happened, in the 40s, but isn't there stuff like this happening now? And of course, the answer is, yeah, we still have these issues. Talk about how, when you work with the schools, hey, this film may be based on something in 1910 or 1830, but a lot of the stuff may be happening now. Talk about how that's formatted for the students.
Well, what we find is that very often what seems like a global issue very often is a local issue.
Right.
And I think that's what gives these students a chance to see things with a different perspective. And because of the fact that we get a chance to also do a Q&A with the filmmaker, like there was a film that we had programmed long before the Ukrainian war started. And it was about immigration, illegal immigration, and it was about Ukrainians going into Poland, getting work illegally, and now being taken advantage of. So that was completely separate from the war. But when I interviewed the filmmaker, it was the middle of the night for him, and he sat on the steps of the Arts and Culture building in Poland, and it was really moving because I asked him about the war, and that was the thing that the teachers came back was, my students would have never, ever had that opportunity, because he talked about how it was impacting him, and he was there sitting on the steps, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah, no, I think it's so important to bring that history in many ways does not repeat itself. In many ways, it absolutely repeats itself. We're chatting with Tonya Mantooth, CEO and Artistic Director for the San Diego National Film Festival, now in its 22nd year. It's an iconic film festival, no doubt, thanks to the great work of Tonya. And, of course, she's going to be in 5 seconds saying, it's not me, it's all the amazing people that I work with, and that is so true. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the community show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Talk about Culinary Cinema. What's that all about?
You know what? That's everybody's favorite. So I curate a film on food, and then this year we're bringing 6 chefs.
Oh, boy.
Who
I'm getting hungry.
Prepare a dish. Oh, yeah. Prepare a dish inspired by the film. And then we do some wine pairing with it, and it's a lovely way to spend Sunday afternoon.
Right. So that's on, what day is that going to be?
That's on the last day of the festival, and that's on Sunday. And we have 2 different screenings for that.
Right, exactly. And so does the film festival ever sell out where there's just no more tickets available?
Very often, like opening night, Culinary,
right.
Our major studio premieres. We always have a pretty full house.
Right. Okay, right. So in other words, audience, if you want to go to these, get on it right now, because you don't want to miss this. Talk about, you guys are always involved with some type of wonderful collaboration that's just in your DNA, which makes you guys so successful. Talk about the Gary Sinese Foundation.
So I'm so honored because we have the world premiere of the film Brothers After War, and that's in partnership with Gary Sinese Foundation. And this film is a follow-up film from Brothers at War, which came out probably the mid-2000s. And you've got these brothers are going into war, and their third brother is a filmmaker, and he embeds himself to follow and be able to follow that.
Wow.
And so now he's going back, and the 12 men who are highlighted in the first film are now, they explore what the experience is and the impact of them. And so it dives deep into PTSD, the whole issue of suicide, and what they experience. And it is a very, very moving film.
Yeah, the name of it again?
Brothers After War.
Okay, and when is that playing?
So that is playing on Saturday.
The 21st?
21st,
Yeah.
yes. And one of the things that we're doing with them is before the screening, we're doing a panel because the director and the Gary Sinese Foundation have developed a workshop, and they've put over 30,000 men and women through this workshop to help them with the PTSD. And that's what the panel is going to be about what's in place and how to help these men and women.
Yeah, we had the ED of the Gary Sinese Foundation on the show, chatting about it, and it comes to some of the SDMAC, Military Advisory Council breakfast, and how much we've done SDMAX shows here too. I'm glad to see we're going to chat about Joey Travolta's inclusion films. It was just an honor to chat with him. Was it 2 years ago? I had him.
Yes.
You teed this up, right? Exactly. That's John's brother. What a delightful guy, and talk about what his inclusion films are all about.
I love Joey. I mean, we have worked together over the years since I've been in the festival, and
Right.
what he has built and his commitment to bring the issue of adults with developmental disabilities is really, really remarkable, and his commitment then to train them in production, and then be able to talk about why it's important for employers to really see this community as viable employees. And so that's, we've got Lights, Camera, Friendship, which is his documentary. We're also doing a panel with him where he's going to talk about this issue because it's the whole issue of why we need to consider supporting this community because they want to live vibrant and independent lives, and we need to support that. And that's part of getting the word out to the community.
Right. Now, do you invite groups like Terry and Noah Holmes and St. Madeleine Sophie Center to come and watch this stuff? These are all frequent groups. They're on my shows all the time. And there's another group I got involved in, Aaron, my producer, we love these guys. They're called Riding Above Disability, where they have people on the spectrum, but they ride horses. And so we've had them on the show. I love having the people that are on the spectrum on the show in this aspect of it. Talk to Joey offline somewhere down the road after the film festival or even before the film festival. We have openings. Would love to have somebody come into the studio. And I think it's just so important. This audience loves to hear from those folks.
Yeah.
They are viable. They do contribute, as you had mentioned, and so forth. When we come back from break, we're going to continue the conversation with Tonya Mantooth. She is the CEO and Artistic Director for the 22nd Annual San Diego International Film Festival. We got a lot more to talk about. San Diego, the Women's Museum of San Diego. We got, of course, something that is near and dear to their heart and always has been since they started, and that is impact on educational programming. And then maybe get her to admit, this will be a tough one. We'll see if I'll let her think about it at break. What are her top 3 favorite films on this over here? And she just ran out of the studio, and we're going to have to go grab her when we come right back. You've been listening to Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year, broadcast from the beautiful Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed's been doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, and Mission Fed's been doing wonderful things in San Diego for more than 60 years. We are back with Tonya Mantooth, the CEO and Artistic Director for the 22nd San Diego International Film Festival. Will be held the October 18th to the 22nd at AMC at UTC, University Towns Center up in University City. You're 91 films. It's going to be terrific. Talk about Focus Impact. What else is going on with this group?
So this year we've been able to really expand it, and obviously we've got a partnership with San Diego Unified School District,
right.
County Office of Education, which allows us to go out to all the high schools in San Diego. But this year, what we're going to roll out is we're going to be inside of San Diego community colleges. Yes. So now we're expanding into that, and I'm about to announce. I guess I'll announce right now, but maybe don't tell anybody.
Don't listen, everybody. Or if you can listen, but don't tell. That's right.
Don't tell. So we are now making it available to all high schools on all tribal lands in San Diego County.
Well, that's fantastic. That's I think one of the things, again, when you work with the schools and you're going to get them geeked up about learning about whatever the case may be, certainly through film. As you've heard me say many, many, many times, because of my background, not only in journalism, but in education, if it was up to me, we would just only have 3 different subject areas taught: visual performing arts, athletics, and maybe communication, and everything under the sun, from physics to science to history to you name it, can be taught with that, and we all know it in that area. How many of the kids that go through and have been doing this and seeing the film festival have actually broken away to become in your field, become directors or writers or crafters or graphic artists?
Well, I think one of the things that the program does is it helps people understand that being a storyteller is really important.
That's right.
And whether or not you choose to go into that field and become part of the entertainment industry, I think you can still tell your story. And I think that's one of the goals. And the other goal is really just to make people aware that it's all of these issues have nonprofits attached, and they're all trying to serve humanity. And so many people feel like, oh, well, I don't want to, I went to college and I don't want to run a nonprofit, but you can still do what you do. You can still do well and you can still do good, because every nonprofit needs the experience. So volunteer, come back and help your community.
Yeah, of course, that's the premise of the Spotlight on the Community show now, 17 years later, is to highlight nonprofits, of course, whether it's the San Diego Film Foundation or Junior Achievement, or pick a topic. And all these folks are just doing amazing work. They're obviously not doing it for the money. They're doing it for humanity. And I think you're so spot on this. And one of the things we try to tell people all the time, and I'm sure you're in the same spot, how many volunteers do you have that work with you during the festival?
So we work with between 400 and 600 volunteers.
Right, exactly. And how important are they to you, to the success of the...
We couldn't run the festival without them.
Exactly. And we tell people this, the same thing with all the 8,000 nonprofits, give or take a few thousand here and there, that they need volunteers. They need people to... And when people tell me, well, I don't have time to volunteer. You don't have 1 hour a month? Well, they can't use 1 hour a month. Oh, yeah, they can. Just have to talk to Tonya, and they'll find a spot for you,
Absolutely.
And maybe next month it's 2, and maybe next year it's 5. And then once you're hooked, you're done on that. Talk about the Women's Museum of San Diego and all the stuff going on with that.
So I'm so thrilled. Last year, we started working together, and we brought in their women's film series, their women's film festival. And this year, Sandra Moss, who's the board chair, Laura Mitchell, who's executive director, they're fantastic, and I'm so excited. So what we do is once I curate all the films, I'll give them about 10, 12 films that are women-led. And then we together decide which ones will get the designation being the women's film series. And then we do a panel, and that's called Unstoppable Women, of course. And Sandra will moderate it, and we really get to highlight what it means to be a female filmmaker. And frankly, it's a really interesting time for women. I mean, you look at Greta Gerwig with Barbie. I mean, the top grossing film by Warner Brothers ever.
Have you seen it?
You know what? I have not.
I saw it.
I have not seen it yet.
My daughter said, "You're seeing this, Dad," and that's all there is to it. I said, "Do I have to wear pink?" Because you do not have to wear pink. Okay, on that. No, I mean, who hasn't? We're fascinated by it. Just absolutely fascinated, by that. Talking to Tonya Mantooth, she's the CEO and artistic director for the San Diego International Film Festival. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. Okay, so I gave you some time to think about this. Okay, it's not a fair question, of course, because you like all 91 of these that are going to be showcased, and probably all 3,000 maybe that you were looking at before. But there's some that just stand out at you. Not that they're better than the others, but boy, this really resonated with me.
There was one documentary that literally stopped me in my tracks, and it shook me, actually. And it's called The Grab, and it's about this this investigative journalist, and he starts to explore why some of our water and land rights are being bought up by foreign governments, and he begins to dig, and he begins to get, kind of a whistleblower and provided documents, and so what he begins to put together, and you're seeing this in real time, is you're seeing that foreign countries have a long-term goal to buy that because they're trying to control water and food, and many people think that that's the next nuclear bomb.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you can throw energy in there as well, because without energy, everything stops on this. So where did it go? What is it still in process? Is the government doing anything about this? Is anyone paying attention now?
Well, you got to come see the film.
Okay, all right, good. So there'll be some answers in that film. When's that playing?
That's a good question.
Okay, so anyway, just go to the website again, the San Diego International Film Festival. Google it, and you'll see everything. October 18 to the 22nd. Opening day is the 18th. It's going to be at MOPA. Going to feature the Holdovers, Paul Giametta, and maybe he'll make an appearance down there. We're not sure of that. Oh, he probably won't be?
They're not allowed to.
Oh, that's right. Okay, gotcha. That's right. No one is allowed. That's right. So there won't. Any chance this will be solved before then?
You know what? I don't think it's going to be solved before the end of the year, or maybe in the beginning.
Has this been the longest strike?
Yes.
Right, exactly. That passed that a while ago, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is certainly something that I know people have been chatting about it as well. And are the people just doing reruns? How are they still getting things produced?
Well, I think there was content, that was already teed up.
Right.
But they're probably recycling things. I mean, it's tough. It's devastated the whole industry.
Right.
So yes, it's the actors and the writers, but there are no crews. I mean, although now you've got independent films. Now they run differently.
Right.
They have different guidelines.
Right.
And also, SAG is giving waivers to certain studios and distributors if they agree to the interim agreement of how the streaming payments are made.
Gotcha.
So, and then they get to move forward. So now you're seeing studios and distributors saying, "Listen, I'm all for that," and then they get the waiver to be able to move forward with the production.
Is that growing, and the waivers growing or not?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think they are, but they're still up against some pretty big issues. Yeah.
And it is fascinating. Again, chatting with Tonya Mantooth, CEO and artistic director for the San Diego International Film Festival, October 18 to the 22nd, AMC at UTC, and you're going to see some great films. 91 of them are going to be showcased. Or do you have to be in person to see them, or are any of these going to be streamed?
You know what? This is the first year we're not going to do any virtual.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody really wanted to come back as a community, and I think, and I'm grateful because my audience really wanted to be in person and really have that experience.
All right, why don't you shout out that website one more time?
sdfilmfest.com.
Well, always great to see you, Tonya. You put on just literally a internationally renowned film festival. Encourage anybody that wants to see great filmmaking, meet some new friends and whatever, and really have some very thoughtful topics that come out of this, focusing on empathy, folks, empathy, and even more empathy. Any final words, Tonya?
You know what? Just come on out and be part of the community.
That sounds great. Tonya Mantooth, always a pleasure. She's the CEO of the art and artistic director for the San Diego International Film Festival, now in its 22nd year. We'll be playing October 18 through the 22nd at AMC at UTC. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We are now in our 17th year. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.